Ontario asparagus are fresh and coming out of the fields all over the province. It's time to start thinking about recipes that really showcase their incredible flavor. I'm going to do a skillet asparagus with fresh Gouda and sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to use these jumbo asparagus. Now, one of the misconceptions about asparagus is that as they get bigger, that they are less tender. They're actually more tender. So I'm going to get started by trimming these up and then preheat the pan so I can get started. It's important to preheat the cast iron pan because I'm going to use the broiler in the oven. So I'll make sure to preheat the broiler. And then preheating the pan, as soon as I put the asparagus on the pan, they'll begin to cook. So I'm going to turn this on medium-high heat so it's ready to go. Larger spears are great for grilling because they really hold up. They love the heat. The first thing that I have to do is to trim off the woody stems. And knowing how these grow, you know this is the base that just comes out of the soil. So just simply take, and wherever that break is, that's really the tender part. So I'm going to trim all of them to about the same length and then slice the ends on a little bit of a bias just so that it cleans up the edges. You can easily jog the ends so that they're all roughly the same length, and then trimming them all the same length is important as well. This is for a uniform appearance, but more than that, it's for uniform cooking. With the pan preheated, it's ready to assemble this very simple recipe. I've got some really good extra virgin olive oil that I've packed these sun-dried tomatoes in. So the first thing that I'll do is put some on the pan. You can see it's good and hot. And then I'm just going to simply put the asparagus on and just turn them, roll them over just a little bit and get some of that beautiful. You should smell how incredibly fragrant that oil is. There we go. Now, with those prepped, I'm going to take and arrange some of these right on top. The nice thing about the sun-dried tomatoes paired with the asparagus is it'll give it a little bit of sweetness. Of course, asparagus are quite bitter, and this will help to balance the flavor beautifully. Next, it's time for the Gouda. With the Gouda on, it's going to melt just beautifully. But the one thing that's going to come is lots of oil. So I'm going to take and use the panko breadcrumbs and put those right across the top. They'll soak up any of that excess oil. You can put some on now and then add a little bit as it finishes. This skillet asparagus is now finished and ready to go to the table. The first thing I want to do is just give it a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. And then I've got a sea salt that I'm going to fresh grind as well. Now remember, the saltiness from the sun-dried tomatoes and also the cheese means you don't need quite as much salt. Now, for the last step, we're going to brighten it up with a little bit of lemon zest. Wow, that lemon smells incredible. Now, with all of this beautiful Ontario asparagus available, you want to make sure that when you do cook it, it's in its best condition. So when you're storing the asparagus in the refrigerator, remember, the refrigerator is a giant dehydrator. So the way you combat that is to simply wrap the base in a moist paper towel. So get it good and wet, wrap it around the base tightly, then tuck this in a bag and close it up. Put it in the refrigerator, keep them firm and keep them ready for the grill, for roasting, however you enjoy them. Ontario asparagus are incredible.